In Harare, Zimbabwe on Sunday evening. The International Conference on AIDS and STIs in Africa ICASA will draw close to 4,000 experts and government officials from around the continent. It comes amidst warnings that the continent risks losing ground in its fight if the programs are not intensified.
Explicit instructions on how to use condoms safely are boomed over a loudspeaker. Where years ago it would have been unthinkable for Zimbabweans to be seen at such a roadshow, these crowds are a sign of the changing times. Condomize, a project of the United Nations Population Fund, has distributed tens of thousands of condoms in the last 3 days and is breaking myths about the disease.
People are embarrassed and they are shy to talk about condoms, but they think prostitutes are the only people who use condoms.
Zimbabwe officials say 108 million pieces were distributed last year alone, along with 5 million female condoms, the continent's highest uptake.
Zimbabwe is one of the countries where condoms have really been accepted. And in terms of our HIV prevalence, we are one country where we have managed to almost have the infections.
As the country commemorates 30 years since its first HIV diagnosis, it's hosting Africa's largest AIDS conference. Here, the continent is expected to commit to intensifying the fight over the next 5 years.
The trajectory of the epidemic has been broken. It's smaller now than it was 10 years ago. That's a good thing. That's a fine thing. But if people now rest on those laurels and say that's a good enough job, then the epidemic will still be at unsustainable levels for generations and generations to come.
Top of the agenda, discussing goals for universal access to antiretroviral treatment in light of new studies that prove that every HIV-positive person should be on treatment. The ICASA conference will also tackle emerging fault lines.
One of the things that is particularly evident is the extent to which young women, especially those young women just moving into adulthood, the rates of HIV amongst that cohort of young women go up alarmingly from the age of 15, 16, 17, 18.
The prospect of an HIV-free generation is still far off, but the conference hopes that its strategies will keep every infected person alive. Shinga Nyoka, SABC News, Harare, Zimbabwe.